Welcome to EQS-electric, my new channel for my EQS 450 Plus Mercedes in the AMG design. Today my channel is for 30 days online, and after those 30 days I'm allowed to give it a specific name in the URL so that I do not have those 24 characters arbitrary weird. No, I will have a name, and well, I've just seen what name I am allowed to give it. I'm often asked why I'm limiting this channel to just the EQS-electric, to the EQS 450 Plus. Well, I have a lot of jobs. One of them is to promote the whiskey.com, where Fine Spirits Meet website for the whiskey connoisseur, and the whiskey is written without an E in front of the Y. So this is a big job for me. And the other is we have the similar channel in German, the whiskey.de, and a shop in Germany and Austria. And so there's a lot of work to do, and I'm just really not able to afford all that time to cover different cars. So the EQS has really a lot of features where we all have to go through. So this will cover years and hundreds of videos to cover everything of that car. And then there will be, well, facelifts and changes, and we have to comment on that. And yeah, so there's a lot for the EQS to tell you. The most important property of a car is the consumption, because an electric car has a limited amount of energy in it, in its battery. And this is what I've done in the last video. I'm in the process of running in the car. Today I will pass the 2,000 kilometer mark, and then we will also do high-speed tests. And this is what was asked to how much the car consumes when you're driving on German Autobahn at full speed, 200 kilometers per hour. Yeah, so we will see. Today I will show you features on the outside of the car, and I've drove through the car wash, and typically I'm doing that only after half a year, when the paint of the car was able to harden out. That was a problem decades ago. I think it's no longer valid, so that you can wash it immediately after receiving it. And for the pictures I took for you here and the small video sequences, I put it through the car wash, and yeah, there's still a little bit of insects, dirt on the car left over, and we will have a very insect-rich year here in southern Bavaria, where a lot of rain, and now it's turning warmer, and the breeze is immense. And so I've driven 300 kilometers over German Autobahns with a 130 kilometers per hour, just 81 miles per hour, and it was covered with insects. Wow, it was horrible. Yeah, so it will go through the car wash very often, and the car is smaller than in width, not in length, in width than the Model S from Tesla. So it was easier for me to drive through that, because it's limited to 2 meters and a little bit in width between the wheels. Where to begin? Well, not with the body tolerances, the gaps and the joints. I will show you that in the end, and instead we start with a car with a body in a hole. Mercedes uses a consequent purpose design and calls it one bow. That one bow was quite similar to the old CLS, Mercedes CLS in the first version from 2004, 2005, I think. And it's curved like a drawn bow. So it's very smooth, curved. The air is slowly rising up the hood and has a small angle to the windshield, and then flows over the roof and very constantly lowers in the back and stops at a small spoiler on the lid. This leads to the best drag coefficient, CD, of all passenger cars in the moment in production. The design is a complete new one, and Mercedes did not have to deal with body parts of old fossil cars. So everything is new in this on the outside. In the inside, there's a lot of equal parts to the S-Class and other Mercedes, but on the outside it's completely different. Lots of details, and more of the inside you will get in a later video. I have to clean up the car from the inside, yeah. The chassis design with a flat battery in the floor and most of the undercarriage is like Tesla. But there are some remnants of old fossil cars. Have a look at the front. The fake radiator grille looks like the one in the first Tesla Model S, which was plastic, flat plastic in it, which gave a big contrast to the color of the car when it was not black. Yeah. This Mercedes grille has some stars in it, a lot of small stars in it. Well, it cost 300 extra, but that looks better than flat plastic. Yeah, so fortunately the color does not contrast that much with the dark night blue color of the car. Well, I left the car wash immediately before I took those pictures. And you can see the pollen on the blooming trees after 15 minutes on that car. So this car attracts the pollen and dirt. I have to wash it quite often. Yeah, unfortunately. And then you see in the front two big over-dimensioned air intakes for the brakes. Well, looks like, and the fossil cars, the AMG fossil cars, really have those big air intakes for the brakes, but these are fake intakes. There's a flat plastic behind the ribs, nothing flows through that, so most often you do not need to brake, and the electric motor turns to a generator and regains energy, and that up to, I heard, about 200 kilowatts of braking power. And this is a lot more than Tesla provides. So Tesla is very smooth in regenerating, and you have to drive carefully and slowly not to use the brakes. And on autobahns in Germany, you always have to use the brakes with Tesla. Or when somebody pulls out in front of you and you are not able to reduce your speed by lifting your right foot. So then you have to brake, and this will use the mechanical brakes as well. And the Mercedes has more than double the braking power with a motor that you do not need the brakes, and therefore you do not need the air for the brakes. And therefore these ducts, inlets are covered, and there are 3 ribs to the side, and there you have those shark gills. And there the air is driven to the side, and this brings a curtain, an air curtain over the outside of the wheels, and this helps to reduce drag coefficient. So they use these fake air inlet design for covering the wheels, for not to bring too much disturbance of the airflow. Yeah, but that's fake, and it's AMG, so you see these chromium rim on that. Yeah, so you pay for that. For the outside, it was like 4,000 something. Yeah, too much. Okay, it was a prefabricated car. I had to use that. And there's a second remnant of old fossil cars in the back. There are 2 fake tailpipes. So you have these first electric cars like the Mercedes EQC or the first Audi e-tron. They had the same body as fossil cars had, and they had to convert it to match the electric technology. And those regions in the back where the pipes, the hot pipes show out, they have rear bumpers with those open spaces, because those hot pipes would otherwise melt the plastic. I had such a problem with one of my BMWs. The exhaust pipe was mounted the wrong way, and the exhaust pipe had been too close to the rear bumper, and then it's smoldered in it. Yeah, so they take these bumpers from the fossil cars and close those openings for the tailpipes and converted that car into electric. And why do they do that and have not a complete new bumper? Well, the tools for fabricating this bumper, this plastic part, those tools are extremely expensive. And so they use the same tools and make a small cover to close that. And well, with the EQS, you have a completely new set of tools for all the bumpers, front, back, every plastic part, every metal part is new. And they said, well, we will have these fake remnants of those old tailpipes. I have no idea why they did that. The way Tesla did it, by saying this is an electric car, we do not need that, was far better. And there had been a time, I think some 20, 25 years ago, where those big BMWs and Mercedes had a complete closed back, and the exhaust pipes were turned down behind the rear bumper. So you did not see those exhaust pipes, and it was elegant. You do not see the engine, parts of the engine. Well, today everything is a little bit of prolling. So this might be a remnant of that old fashion. The diffuser below the rear bumper looks really excellent, better than the last one from the Model S, which did not exist at all, which was just a plastic, cheap plastic. The diffuser from the P85D I had before was a real excellent part. And the diffuser from the EQS-electric shows these three rounded ribs for having a directed airflow from the below the car to the back, expanding the air, reducing the pressure, reducing lift in the back. So this is a real wonderful made part. The wheels are more or less standard AMG wheels. They look quite nice in their two color design, the dark black with the shiny chrome ribs on it, but 21 inches is too big for my personal taste. Yeah, there had been a discussion below one of the last videos about the feature list of my car, and I had some, well, not that favorable remarks about these wheels. And the comments were, the bigger the wheels, the safer you are, the better you brake, and turning velocities are higher and everything. Well, might be. There are tests which show a slight advantage with bigger wheels, but the tires on the wheels of my car are Goodyear Eagle F1, I think they are called, and it was said in the comments that those are the best available tires today for the car. Well, I love those Goodyears. I had them on BMWs, and they have a very precision steering, and yeah, but calling them the best, no, I found better ones. The Pirelli P0, it's, for my personal taste, it's far better than the Goodyear. But those wheels have a big disadvantage. They are those eco-style wheels, and you have an allowance of wear on the wheels. So the profile has 6 millimeters on these wheels, and in former times, the tires had 7 to 8 millimeters. Now there's only 6 millimeters, a quarter of an inch left, and you have less, 30 to 50% less in available wear of the tires. So you have to change them more often. You have to pay 1,000 every year or every 2 years. And this is what the people intended with that. Well, they said they are quieter. Yeah, if the profile is less, then the noise from the wheel is less. But if the profile is less, then the braking distance is less. So there are advantages and disadvantages with this wear. And I think one of the hidden ideas is with these eco tires is that you have more of obsolescence and you have to replace them more often. The car has a lot of sensors on the outside. I have no official count of those sensors. I haven't seen below the body of the sheet metal of the car, but the manual talks about 5 radars, one in the front and one in each of the corners of the car. And there are 2 or even 3 cameras. I don't know if one is the rain sensor or another camera at the center mirror in the front shield. And then there are 2 cameras on the lower part of the side mirrors. There is a camera in the lower part of the big Mercedes star in the front looking forward. And there is a last one in the covered by the Mercedes logo in the back. And if you're pulling back, then this folds out and the camera can have a look to the back. I think Volkswagen has the same in their VW logo. The door handles drive out and back like in the Tesla Model S for the better drag coefficient, but they appear much more robust than the ones of the Tesla, and they are much better sealed against water. After coming out of the car wash and the handles drove out, they were dry on the inside. With Tesla, I always had to wipe them dry after cleaning the car. Otherwise, more water would be in the doors, and I don't feel that that's all right for all those electronics in the doors. Then there is a projection light coming out of these door handles when you're closing to the car in night or open the door. Then you see these Mercedes logo in bright white on the floor so that you're better see the entrance of the car. So this is a gimmick, a fancy gimmick, but you will see that in detail when I show you the car at night. There's a light show inside the car. Wow, incredible. The car has LED light stripes between the back lights and between the front lights, and the digital light of the car is a complete different world. I had been out one night already, and this is day and night to every other car I've driven so far. I know there are matrix lights out there with BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and these matrix lights, the Tesla has them as well, but not with those many beams. And Lucid Air will be extreme with 80 single beams. I wonder how the motors react if you're able to have all those motors in function of those 81 beams for many, many years. So the digital light is an extreme, how to tell you, a sort of projection equipment which projects light on the street. And there are several beams in it where you can darken out the car in front of you. And it even is able to project arrows on the Autobahn if you have to change lanes with a navigation system. Then you get the arrow on the street. Wow, that looks incredible. That's a completely different world. And if you hit another car with that light and you have to replace it, this will cost the amount of, well, a used smaller car in a good shape. So I think you have to pay 4,000 or 5,000 dollars for a replacement of one of those units. I hope that you're able to replace part of that. Yeah, so this is a wonderful piece of work, extreme technology, but replacing them, oh, you have to have very deep pockets. Yeah. At last, we have a look at the gaps, as I said in the beginning of the video. They are really excellent. I've not expected anything else from that premium car manufacturer. And they are very, very symmetrically from left to right, from top to bottom, and from the front to the back. I found a single region where the gaps are not 100% perfect. Well, there are differences if you look in a perpendicular angle to the car, then the gaps have a broader thickness as if you look in a close angle to the car. So there are differences in appearances where you think the gaps are a little bit bigger or not. But as soon as you walk around the car and look perpendicular to that gap, it's exact. Yeah, so you can't judge the gaps by these videos I took of the car. You have to see it in reality. I found a very little half a millimeter edge on the car, and that's at the front between the lights. There is the LED horizontal light between those headlights, and this has a half a millimeter, not equally lined up with the headlights. Yeah, and probably that might be correctable by adjustment of the hood to have it close a little bit more than it is. But the hood is not supposed to be opened by the owner. It's just a hood for opening in the garage, in the repair shop. But I know how to open that, and I will show you the inside in one of the upcoming videos. What I found, or what I always find the worst part on a car, and with this car as well, which is not, well, which might be a part of Mercedes, is the big license plate, which is mandatory on every European car in the European community. If you look at Switzerland, they have a very small front plate. In the US, I think in Florida, you do not have to have a front plate. And this front plate, this huge, big, with the edge around it, is very, very bad to your drag coefficient. It's an anachronistical part, very, very bad. And so there's a lot of red tape work in the European community, and I think you have to sacrifice that for a better drag coefficient. They are all green today, and they're talking green, and here they would be able to reduce thousands of tons of energy every year by saying, well, we change this metal plate to a sticker. Equally sized, put flat on the front of the car, and then the drag coefficient would be much, much better. But, well, how we tell in Germany, you more early see a horse vomiting than the bureaucracy eliminating a law. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. There's more to come.